Alrighty. Welcome everybody to Stateless Implementers Call 25. This is Agenda 1159 in the PM repo. So we have a pretty light agenda today. Just shared it in the chat. Yeah, we can go ahead and get started with team updates. If anyone would like to go first.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Yeah, we've been working on some, the testnet relaunch. We merged most of our PRs. There's one that's still outstanding, but we're currently debating, so we should merge it soon. Otherwise, benchmarking, I've had a lot of hardware issues, so no announce to do to make right now, unfortunately. But yeah, it's chugging along. So hopefully next week I can share some stuff. And otherwise, there was some updates into the test fields. I think we released the latest version. Ignacio, is that correct?
Yes, we fixed some extra get bugs, and I also fixed some tests regarding these exhaustive witness checks that were enabled a while ago. So last Monday, I shared with some people a new version of fixtures, so they can run them. We already know that Get and Nethermind already agree on the state root and use gas for them, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, it would be nice if other clients might use them to know if they are ready for the DevNet. And I also wanted to say that if EL clients have a stateless mode, it will be also cool to run these fixtures in stateless mode, which basically means try using the witness as your pre-state source of truth to actually run the fixture, right? Because that's kind of the whole point of all this. Everything in the witness should be sufficient to run the fixture and to let you the test pass. So I think actually running the fixtures in stateless mode is actually the ultimate test for knowing if the witness is having the right data for running a block. So yeah, just wanted to mention that too. But apart from that, well, after having some extra confidence that more clients were passing this version of fixtures, I have a bunch of other tests that I can enable that will be testing more like corner cases about running out of gas in very particular places of execution. But for this, I have to do a lot of manual work to find the right gas limits for the tests. And yeah, after I know that things are a bit stable, I can do that work. Because if we keep changing or fixing our bugs, I might have to do that work again. So yeah, that's kind of the next steps.
Right, and I forgot to add, we're working on rebasing out of Cancun. It's taking a long time, but yeah, we're focusing on that now.
I can go next. So for Nethermind, there is no major update. Just working with Ignacio over Hive test, and I'll also try to run the Hive test in stateless mode this week. That's it.
Okay. On Bezos side, I was last week trying to work on the FlatDB, so I'm trying to have a FlatDB based on stem key. For that, I did some micro benchmarking. I wanted to see what will be the impact in the S-load operation. And with my first micro benchmarking, I found that really the performance was really bad. I had some discussion with Kevin Ree in order to understand why it's really, really slow. And we found that maybe we can have some optimization in the REST Vercel library, and maybe also on the Besu side, we can optimize by changing how we are calling the library. But we are also trying to integrate the Constantine library into Besu. We want also to compare the performance with this library. And after that, if we can see that the results are better, maybe I will continue to work on this FlatDB based on stem key. But for the moment, regarding the performance we have, I think we need to optimize performance before continue on this part. On the gas cost, so I will let Luis talk about that. He is currently working on that.
Yep. So I didn't make much progress on the gas costs. I switched over to the enabling of getting the test framework, the fixtures to run with on Vesu. And yeah, I'm making good progress. I'm getting some errors while I'm executing the tests, but so I'm kind of missing some the setups to do. And yeah, I'm making progress on that. I will look into finalizing the gas costs once I get this out of the way.
Just some remark, because we had the conversation with Karim last week. So yeah, we have a hashing that is 7 times slower than Ketchak. I still need to do some benchmarks, but yeah, I was like bogged down by some hardware issues. But it seems that using a FlatDB that is using directly the hash keys, like the Pedersen hash keys, seem to be acceptable in terms of performance. But yeah, I need the benchmarks to support that claim.
Yeah, it's clearly what I want to have also on Besu, having something close to 7 times slower. But for the moment, when I did some benchmark, it was more 300 times slower. So clearly we need to look in the Besu side of the performance.
Cool. Did we get everybody? Any other updates? Sweet. If not, we can keep going. Cool. Agenda item number 2. Guillaume had some thoughts on EIP 7702 in Verkle.
Yeah, so well, you might be aware of the attempt to break Pectra into two forks. One is called Pectra, and the other one is called temporarily called Pectra B. That might be Osaka after all. We don't know yet. It's not really important at this point. But part of Pectra is 7702. Yeah, let's not start a fight over the naming. 7702 is going to be in Pectra, so we implemented, or we made a proposal that it's actually still in review. Let me see if I still have the PR right here. Yeah, that's the one. Let me also share the link in the chat. Is that it? Yeah. Right. Okay, here we go. So long story short, if you look at the EIP 7702, you have a new type of transaction that contains what's called an authorization list, which is just like some kind of some kind of information that you use to update some accounts. So there's an algorithm that is being described. You need to verify that whoever, like the signature basically of that authorization. And then if you do this if this authorization is correct, you charge some gas and you will replace the code as 0xEF0100 and concatenated with the address. So you update the code basically. And this serves as a pointer to call, like if you, for example, do an Xcode hash, or if you do a call or anything, it delegates. So you just, instead of calling, if you do an Xcode hash on this account, for example, it will go and look into the address and basically do forward it to the account that it's pointed to. So you will get the code hash, not of the EOA you're calling into, but of that address. So this is an update to the EIP that does exactly this. That just says if you call those functions, you also need to touch the code hash leaf key. We removed the specific case for Xcode hash because at least when you access an account, you need to know what the code is. So actually, this is incorrect. There's already a problem I realized with the CIP. You need to check the first chunk of the code. So yeah, that should not be the code hash. It should be the code. So yeah, the long story short, I just want to bring your attention on this. Please have a look. There's a lot to criticize. There's already a need for some updates, actually, I just realized. But the idea is that, yes, because we need to check that there might be an interaction, there might be a delegation, we need to check the extra code, like the first code chunk, to see what type of account this is, and we need to forward it. I think there's something else. Right. So yeah, when you execute the code, when you do an Xcode hash, when you do whatever, you need to check, and then you need to find the delegated address if that's a delegation. And so if this is a 7702 account, if this is a special kind of account, instead of executing the code of the account, the target account, you need to replace it with the delegated account. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of criticism to this EIP, but please have a look and tell me what you think. It also describes the transaction itself, so this I think is a bit more correct than the other part of the EIP. But yeah, the idea is that every time you make a call, you know that, like, for the type of transaction that does update the account, you will need to read those values. You will need to read the leaf key. You will need to read the code hash, and you will need to read the offset. The first chunk, which is at code offset. Actually, that's correct. Yeah, and then you will need to write that and also fill them if it does not exist. And write the first code hash leaf key if the address is not, if the code hash is not present. So if you're creating an account with this operation, you will need to write the code hash. But otherwise, you have to update the basic data leaf key because the nonce needs to be incremented, and you need to update the first code slot. Yeah, right. And there's definitely a controversial claim here that I'm waiting for feedback on. There are some extra costs that are added to the 7702 EIP, and I think, but I'm not sure, that they need to be cleared. They need to become zero because this is covered by the whole witness access costs. So yeah, just wanted you guys to know that this EIP exists. Please, this PR against the EIP exists. please have a look, give some feedback, and yeah, hopefully we can merge this for DevNet 8. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Thanks, Gil. Do you or Ignacio want to continue on with the topic of partial witness charging?
Yes, I can mention about this topic. So last week or the week before, I was debugging a test that I wrote regarding it is a test that basically does a jump to some other, like you are executing a contract, you do a jump to some other place, and you have to charge for this new extra code chunk. And what I'm testing here is if you have to charge 200 gas for this new code chunk, as usual, but you only have, let's say, 190 of gas available. I wanted to check really what EL clients were doing in this case. And this ended up being like a test that I discovered that it was different from, like, Geth was doing something somewhat weird. And the thing is that in Kenya, as far as I know, it was decided that if you don't have enough gas to do whatever witness charging you have to do, you actually don't have to include that in the witness. So to continue the example, if you do a jump and you have 190 of available gas to charge for that code chunk where you are jumping, you don't have to include that code chunk in the witness. This is something that Geth was doing. So Geth was including this code chunk in the witness, even if it didn't have enough gas to pay for it. So that's kind of a bug, let's say. Just wanted to be clear that that shouldn't happen. Another situation where this can happen is there are many places in the execution where we have to include in the witness more than one leaf. So for example, if we try to do a write on an account that doesn't exist, we usually have to write the basic data and the code hash for the address. So intentionally, I mean, the intention is to add kind of two leaf values atomically in the witness, but maybe you only have gas to include the basic data part of it, but not the code hash. So in these cases, Geth was always including both leaves because it first added things to the witness and then it returned how much gas you needed, and then it tried to charge the gas. So if you didn't have enough gas for it, you have already added that thing to the witness. So it was pretty, it was like quite simple logic, but it didn't allow to do this kind of partial witness charging or having like finer granularity in how you charge for witness additions. So this is what this open PR that we have in Geth that Guillaume mentioned before. We are still thinking on how to, if like I did like a fix for this, but we are trying to see if like it's the best way to fix it. But I just wanted to like explain the situation because just to be sure that everyone is aware of it. I know that Nethermind has already implemented this because I also fill some extra tests where I re-enable these tests that surface this situation, and we are both agreeing on it. But yeah, for Geth, it has been a bit tricky to solve this. So I don't know, maybe in other clients isn't the case. It kind of depends on how you design all the gas charging for the witness. But yeah, just to make sure that you only add things to the TLDR is that you should only add things to the witness if you have the available gas for it. So yeah, if you want to know a bit more details of how other like use cases where this can happen, you can pick me if you want. But yeah, I guess this these two examples that I gave might already explain a bit the situation. I don't know if anyone has any question, but that's it.
Thank you, Ignacio. Cool. If no questions on that, the last agenda item we have is just circling back to the question of the testnet and potentially getting it launched this week. I don't know if anyone has updates, thoughts, Guillaume, Ignacio, or anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, we're more or less ready. Like, we're one PR away from launching. The question is really whether the DevOps, the ETH Pena Ops has time at the end of the week to launch a testnet. I think Tanishq is ready, so that's two clients that we can launch a testnet with. There's been some upgrade from Lighthouse, Teku, and Lodestar, of course. So yeah, I think it's worth making an attempt this week. It's just a question of DevOps having some time to do it. I think I saw Parry in the call.
Yeah, I think later this week we should be able to try it out. I would still do it locally first, though, so that you guys have like a testing environment in case there's bugs found. And then once it works locally, I would switch to a public testnet.
Yeah, that sounds good. So okay, I think we have the go finally for DevNet 7. Yeah, are there questions? Otherwise, I think we can have an early end to the call.
Seems like no questions. So should we end it there? Let's do it. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Please.
Bye.